The Tandy 2500 SX20 hard drive. The Tandy 2500 first appeared in 1991, sporting a 286 at 10 MHz, and was last offered in 1994, powered by a 386 SX at 33 MHz. The model lineup consisted of the 2500 XL with its 28610, the 2500 XL2 with a 286-16, the 2500 SX with a 386 SX16, the 2500 SX20 at 20 MHz, the 2500 SX25 and 2500 RSX at 25 MHz, and finally the 2500 SX33 at an astounding 33 MHz. The model on my bench is the 2500 SX20 hard drive. I find the fact that the words hard drive were included on the label strange. Delving deeper shows that Tandy offered floppy-only versions through 1993. Really, what could you run from a floppy-only computer? The latest date stamp I could find was on the cover. Looks like late February 1992. Let's see what's inside. Sliding the cover off revealed more covers. Part RF shield, part tamper deterrent. A slot cover was held on by two quarter-turn thumb screws circled in red here. Visible in the center is a keyed lock that luckily was open. Once the left side was removed, the right side swings up on hinges to reveal the motherboard below. Removing the drives and their cables makes it easier to look around. The riser card, of course it was empty. The motherboard, I removed the battery to test it. The CPU, the BIOS, the video DAC, digital to analog converter, VGA controller, 256K of video memory, and this unique 2x20 single inline pin socket for VRAM upgrades. Onboard memory 1 meg. Someone's added 4 more megs for a total of 5. Let's zoom in on the motherboard chipset. A Headland HT21. Just a 286 motherboard with a little 386 sprinkled in. Now for reassembly. With nothing hooked up but the power supply and a monitor, the usual warnings were displayed. Nothing notable there. On to a boot disk. With the original drive and cable, the system kept locking up at the date prompt. I tried several times with the same results. I know the BIOS settings need resetting, but the line it reads "seat failure" grabbed my attention. Does the drive type have to be set to clear the message? And if so, how do you get a successful boot to run the setup program? As a side note, Tandy shaved a few cents off these systems by not having the setup program in ROM. Knowing many Tandys powered their drives through the data cable, substituting another drive would be a problem. Here is a view of the back of the card edge connector for the 5 1/4 inch drive. Tandy had made provisions to prevent power from reaching the end connector. A little research shed some light on the matter. Here is the Tandy pin out, far left and right columns, with a typical 3 1/2 inch drive, the grayed area in the middle. So off I go on a tangent, adapting a common drive to this system. Using a drive cable fished out of my box of spares, first remove 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 29, 31, and 33 from the motherboard in. Now the next hurdle is to get the drive and motor enable signals to line up. At the drive end, I pried the connector apart and reassembled it with only 10 and 12 flipped. With only the larger Molex connectors from Tandy, I added an adapter for the 3.5 inch drive. With that behind me, I quickly moved on. I ran the setup program that I found online, answered a few questions, reconnected everything, and was rewarded with a successful boot from the hard drive. The following are some screenshots of various utilities I use. For no particular reason, I decided to install a somewhat unique CD-ROM drive I picked up earlier. I paired it with the Mitsumi card I purchased separately. The card had a damaged component that was easily replaced. With the 3 drives now mounted in the top flip-up cover and with a little cable origami to reduce clutter and prevent pinching, observant viewers have caught the missing CD-ROM cable that I added later, I closed it up. As a side note, I found another computer online that appears to be internally identical. Tandy appears to use a ready-made solution by a manufacturer that also sold this chassis to other resellers.